Hello, brothers and sisters. Sitting on one of my many park benches, enjoying a meditative moment. It's a beautiful Sunday morning here in Krakow. It's that perfect combination of a little bit of mist in the air, kind of wintry autumnal mist, and then the low sunlight through the leaves. You can't really beat that. Perfect walking weather. Let's talk about a similar thread, which is being meditation. I was recently speaking to a client of mine, and he was having some challenges with being in his head, overthinking, getting triggered by certain things, and then kind of spending up to days worrying about the same thing, the same thought patterns. This was actually earlier on in the coaching that we had, that this came up. And yeah, sounds pretty human to me. I mean, I know many people, including myself, who have fallen into unhelpful thought patterns, obsessive thought patterns, overthinking, rumination. And one of the things we started talking about was the nature of thought, the dynamic at play in terms of how we experience stress and how thoughts are the source of that stress as opposed to what's actually happening in your reality. Reality is completely neutral. The world out there is completely label-free. It's only got labels projected onto it by humanity. And in that sense, the reason we feel emotional distress, the reason we suffer and worry or feel the effects of worry is because we are looking to thought as a new version of reality, or at least a filter that gets in the way of what is really there, which is pure label-free form. So we spoke about that, and then inevitably, as it always does, the conversation moves to meditation, because meditation is about watching thoughts. It's about getting into a state where you're sitting and you are aware as almost a third party that thoughts are arising. They're moving through you like a sort of conveyor belt of new ideas, new visions, new thoughts, some positive, some negative. And meditation obviously takes many forms, but the heart of why meditation exists is to help humans with this feature that has been built into us, which is the ability to think. We are thinking beings. We have a prefrontal cortex and everything else attached to it that helps us plan things and see visions that help us explain and communicate things to one another. But often that comes with a penalty, or a downside when used incorrectly. And what meditation does is it helps us see that we are separate to our thoughts. And people tend to suffer because they are confusing thoughts with reality. When you wake up in the middle of the night in a sweat thinking, oh my God, I haven't got enough money. What am I going to do? This is a really bad situation. I haven't had a client in several months, and I am running out of money, and I'm not going to be able to pay the kids, pay for the children, and support the family. Oh dear, this is a tragic, really bad state of affairs, and of course you feel awful. But of course what you're looking at is your interpretation of reality. Again, the situation is entirely neutral. It's neither good nor bad. You make it bad through your thinking. And so by stepping out of our thoughts and realizing that we are just generating our thoughts kind of passively, it gives us some relief, because what we can see is that A, we're separate to them, and B, we don't need to be guided and enslaved and directed by these negative thoughts. They're just little suggestions that come up, and they can be grabbed and clung to, and they can dictate our life, and they can dictate our suffering, or they can be let go of. acknowledged, smiled at. And meditation is essentially the training. It is your training in letting go of thought. And the way we do that is through things like putting your attention on your breathing. Breathing is physical. It's no longer in thought, no longer in your head. And by doing that for extended periods, you're training yourself to not cling to those thoughts so dearly every time they come up. But another question was raised, I suppose, in the coaching with this guy. And that is something that I have been applying to my life more and more, which is the idea that do we need to spend hours meditating where we're being mindful and it brings some benefits, absolutely, but then once the meditation ends, once the alarm goes off on your phone and meditation is over, we're back into a world of thoughts and identifying with thoughts and worry, rumination again fires up. And I would see this pattern in him. He would do meditation, and yes, there would be benefits. Yes, benefits would spill over into real life, which is the whole point of meditation. But if you are not bringing a meditative approach to the rest of your day, and it's only centered on the meditative process, the meditation itself, and you kind of forget about it, and you don't apply the benefits, you don't apply the new way of thinking that you're training yourself to do into everyday life, into business, then you're not making full use of the power of meditation. So what I want to talk about in more detail here, and I know that the video is going to be over fairly soon, I want to keep it short, but I felt that was a good introduction to the idea that we can be meditative and mindful in our everyday businesses, in our interactions with people, going to the barber, sitting on a park bench, making videos, working with other people, communicating. That does not need to be seen as separate to my meditation practice. You can bring meditation to all aspects of your life, and that's where things get really interesting, because you can then see everything around you. Life unfolding becomes an opportunity to let go of the thoughts that come up when you're triggered by life. So when, for example, someone cuts you off, this is the famous example of not being mindful that everyone brings up. I got cut off on the motorway, I got cut off, and I was really annoyed, and I wanted to get out and bash this guy's windscreen in. When that happens, rather than being emotional and being guided by your interpretation of that event, maybe the guy was, who knows what the story of the other fella was, doesn't mean that you need to be triggered by it, but of course many of us are. But when triggering events like that happen, it doesn't have to be as intense as that either. It could just be a stressful moment at work. Maybe you're in a meeting at work and you don't feel like you fit in, or whatever it is. Those are all opportunities to be meditative, to be more present. That's ultimately what meditation is training us to be. So why not bring meditation into your entire day? And if you're struggling and you're stressed at work, see it no longer as something bad. Oh no, I'm not doing what I love. This is not good. I'm wasting my life doing this crap. And I'm not enjoying myself, and it's just stressful. Rather than seeing it as a sign that you need to do something else, and guess what? You're going to keep moving. You're going to keep chopping and changing and trying different things, and it'll never end. Or you can see it as an opportunity to level up. And by leveling up, what I mean is you're able to flow through whatever's going on with a kind of calm, a sense of calm, a non-reactiveness, a creativity about it. Everything that comes your way is an opportunity to create something good, something interesting out of what the issue is, what the challenge is. That's meditation in practice. So have a little contemplation on that. I know that my 10 minutes is up, and I like to keep things to 10 minutes, but in a nutshell, the thought of the day today is perhaps you can bring your meditation practice into real life more often, with more awareness. And maybe that means you actually minimize the time you spend in the morning meditating. I used to meditate for like an hour, sometimes a couple of hours in a day. I've now since shifted that to just 11 minutes in the morning, just to sort of center myself, and that's great. And it's absolutely good to meditate, good to train the mind, but you'll never really truly going to be using the benefits of it until you meditate your way through real life events. So see challenges in your life as opportunities to be meditative, to be in flow, to be present, and you'll see things change. You'll see everything becomes an opportunity. Everything becomes a source of enjoyment and calm, potentially. So enjoy yourselves, guys. Do subscribe if you enjoyed this video. There'll be more like this every day. Share this with friends who you think will benefit from this. And if you genuinely got a little hit of pleasure from watching this, do like this and stay put. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.